sexy life, creation. Welcome to the Spirit of a Woman soundtrack. Ladies, grab your wine. Check yourself. Look back. Right. You got it. Cause here, this is where ladies are first.
Hello, everybody. What is going on? Oh, wait. Do I have feedback? All right, y'all know what time it is. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Wait for some people to get in the room. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whatever time zone y'all are in, welcome to the Spirit of a Woman, episode 10, guys. Yes, okay? It is good to be back in the building. Anybody familiar with this song? Y'all know what song this is. This is DNA. Lil Kendrick Lamar for y'all. Because today, we about to talk about getting back in touch with our roots, our ancestry. Yes, the motherland, ladies and gentlemen. As some of you know, I went to Ghana and Egypt for my birthday as my personal pilgrimage because I am always soul searching and seeking answers. And if anybody's like me, then come on in and join. Oh yeah, don't forget, we will have a moment where people, if they want, can come on in and share their experiences too. You feel me? All right. I know you guys are going to enjoy this. We have an amazing guest today who also traveled into Egypt in 1996. Okay? So, I'm not on my math wizardry right now, but I'm going to say a good 26, 27 years ago. So we're just going to do a little comparing, contrasting, and seeing things that we learned, you know what I'm saying, generation to generation about going to Egypt, and discuss, should we all be taking that pilgrimage back to the motherland? You feel me? Hello, I see y'all coming in. Let me say what's up. Hey. How y'all doing? Glad to see y'all. Hey, Aunt Verna, Rita, my mama. Hey, y'all doing? Like I said, make sure y'all click the like button. Make sure y'all share. And make sure y'all comment, okay? Because this is an interactive thing. And we're going to have a good old time. Hey, Miss Denise, how you doing? Oh, wait, did I miss my song? Oh, no, okay. So yes, I don't know if you got a poison or a pleasure, but feel free to go grab that. You feel me? So now, I was contemplating before I started, should I bring in, okay, let me stop the music. So I was contemplating before I start, should I play the 5-minute wrap up that I did of my Egypt trip? So let me see in the comments. If y'all already saw it, then I don't need to. What's going on, Big Rob? How y'all feeling? So I don't know if everyone saw the 5-minute Egypt rap that I put together, but let me know if you guys would like me to run it back or if we just want to get into it. Let me know. Give me a thumbs up if you want to see the 5-minute, because it's 5 minutes. That means y'all got to stay here for 5 minutes. So, do y'all want the 5-minute Egypt wrap up again? Or do you just want to get right into it? Let me see a thumbs up if you want to show the video. Let me see a thumbs down if you just want to get into it. Please respond expeditiously. Oh, okay. We got a thumbs up from one. The guest. Okay. So we gonna play that for y'all then. Okay? So okay, so we got you. I got y'all. Okay. Here we go. Let me see.
I don't wanna write this down. I don't wanna tell you how I feel right now. I don't wanna take no time to write this down. I don't wanna tell you how I feel right now. Hey, tomorrow may never come. For you, for me, life is not a problem. Tomorrow may never show up. For you, for me, this life is not a problem. I ain't no perfect man. I'm trying to do the best that I can with what it is I ain't no perfect man. I'm trying to do the best that I can with what it is I have. Put my heart and soul into the song. I hope you feel me from where I am and wherever you are. I mean that sincerely. Tomorrow may never come. For you and me, life is not common. Tomorrow may never appear. You better hold this very moment, very close to you right now. Very close to you. Don't be afraid. Stay shine. My homie said shine your light on the world. Shine your light for the world to see. My homie said shine your light on the world. Shine your light for the world to see. My homie said shine your light on the world. Shine your light for the world to see. My homie said shine your light on the world. Shine your light for the world to see. Sometimes I get discouraged. I look around and things are so weak, so weak. Times I feel like crying. Sometimes my heart gets heavy. I just wanna leave and run away. Sometimes I don't know what to do myself. Passion takes over me. Feel like a man gonna change. Brain trying to maintain things. Hey, hey, hey. My heart so easily sharp. I hope you feel me when I am spinning. Sometimes I don't wanna be bothered. Sometimes I just wanna quiet life. Me and my baby, me my lady. Sometimes I don't wanna get in snowball. Sometimes I don't wanna be so happy. Sometimes I just wanna be a man. Who me says shine your light on the world. Shine your light for the world to see. My hobby says shine your light on the world. Shine your light for the world to see. Oh, like my demon says shine your light on the world. Shine your light for the world to see. My elder says shine your light on the world. Shine your light for the world to see. I want black people to be free, to be free, to be free. For my people to be free, to be free, to be free. For my people to be free, to be free, to be free. For my people to be free. That's all that is me. 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 Say they won't go like for me, what's for my like tonight? Come on, do right like tonight, come on, right like tonight, come on, get down, get down, love you, I'm saying it. Come on, go, come on, what's for my like for me? Time I like come on, right like that's what I like this. Like people, like people.
Okay. I hope that the sound, because it sounded like the sound might have been a little funky. So I hope that the music played nicely for y'all. So, first of all, before I get started, I want to say two things for today's date. So, it is 9/11, and I believe it's 22 years since um, 9/11 happened. So just want to take a quick moment of silence for anybody who's survivors of people that were lost during the 9/11 attack. So if you do have someone that was and that we lost in 9/11, feel free to put their name down in the chat right now, and we could just lift them up in memory for like a quick 30 seconds. We're just going to be silent. Okay. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. So the other reason that 9/11 is interesting is because it happened really quickly in the video. But if anyone was paying attention, the time that was on the clock when I was coming down the Cairo escalators in the airport was 9/11. Um, that was a number that I was seeing quite often the months leading up to me going to Africa. And I do like to look into the meaning of numbers. And 9/11 was, when we think of 9/11, we think of an emergency. But actually, 9/11 is a conversation about rebirthing of creativity and things of that nature. And I was in a space where I wasn't being really creative. So today was a day that I wanted to use to try to get back into it, and everything just, aligned. My guest was a little nervous, but I talked her into it. And so I'm excited about what is going to happen and what is going to take place. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please show some love, get some likes, put some hearts, click that share button, click that like button, and let us celebrate and join our sister, Reverend Karen Dillon. Hello.
Hello, hello.
How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. Thank you.
I am glad. So it is a lovely Monday evening with the rain, which I love the rain. So I'm here for whatever is going on today. So we are going to get right into it, okay? First of all, let us know a little bit about yourself. Oh, are we having technical issues already, Reverend Dillon? Oh, this rain might be running amok. Reverend Dillon? Okay, we might need you to go out and come back in because you are completely broken up. Okay, we gonna come back to Reverend Dillon real quick. We gonna have her work it out one more time. So I am going to start until we get Reverend Dillon back in the mix. Let me text her real quick. Okay, so please put in the chat if you have ever been to Africa. If you've ever been to Africa, please put in the chat if you've been to Africa. Yeah, I know she froze right then and there. If you've been to Africa, please put a brown heart in the chat if you've been to Africa. Okay, Alcina, so this is going to be fun. So I did a 10-day trip to Africa. I split it up 5 and 5, Egypt and Ghana. And within Egypt, I did Cairo and Luxor. I did not sleep. And I, of course, went to see the Great Pyramids. Of course, I saw the Sphinx. And, of course, I went to the Valley of Kings. Yes, we got one. Come on, Sister Julia Chisholm. She's been to Ghana. Anybody else been to Africa? Okay. So I did Cairo in Egypt and Luxor. So first, I want to talk about my highlight. First, I want to give a little background on a couple of cute little, not cute, but a couple of things that might be a good to know. So first is, does anybody know the original name of Egypt? Before it was called Egypt, what was the original name? Anybody? Does anybody know what the original name of Egypt was before it was Egypt? Okay. The original name before Egypt was Kemet. And you will hear people refer to Kemet as a way to preserve the African culture, because many feel that once Egypt got invaded and raided, and we had multiple times where cultures were changed and our traditions were changed and all of those things, we also got the name changed. Okay. Um, Another word is, we all know it as hieroglyphics. Do you know what the original name of hieroglyphics was when we were speaking about the African language in the Kemet civilization? Anybody? Okay. The answer to that is metal netter. Okay, this was, it was originally called, and the Greek changed it for which is what we better know it for now, is hieroglyphics. So these are little things that got lost along the way as Egypt was invaded, as Egypt had different cultures, traditions, uh, rulers take over. We lost a lot of things that used to be discussed. Now, the first place that I went to was the Cairo Museum. The Cairo Museum was amazing. I am going to pull up all these things for y'all. Hopefully it come out right. So I went to the Cairo Museum and it was amazing. Now, the interesting thing was I had two tour guides. One tour guide told me that everything about ancient civilization in Egypt had us in it, Black Africans. I went to another tour guide and they told me we were lost in the sauce and we didn't contribute as much as we think to the ancient Egypt civilization. That floored me, okay? Because I originally went, yes, we got Reverend Dylan back. I originally went here because I was looking to learn about my ancestors beyond the textbooks. And I get there and someone is telling me that, uh, yeah, y'all didn't really have too much to do with this. That was very much a surprise and a hard pill to swallow, which is when we discuss Kemet and Kemetology, that is what they kind of specialize in, which is learning about African history, pre-invasion, European perspective. So that is why I implore anyone who can to go to Egypt to learn about your culture firsthand, because the history books can be a little for can be a little whitewashed. Okay, let's just do that. Okay, so I would implore everyone to take a trip to Egypt, and if you can, to hire a chematologist for your tour guide, because I feel like you need to get all of the information, especially when it comes to our ancestors. So I'm going to try to bring our Miss Lady of the Hour back. How are you? Are we good? You can't hear me?
No.
I can hear you.
You hear me?
I can hear you.
No, I can't hear you.
Oh goodness, Mrs. Dillon. Oh my goodness. I don't know. Are you gonna try again with your phone?
Let me see. I can't hear Lisa.
I'm not sure.
Hello?
Yes.
I hear you now.
You hear me now? Okay.
Yes.
Got it. So, Mrs. Dillon, please let the people know a little bit about you before we get started.
A little bit about me.
Yes, who you are, what you do, what you used to do, things
Okay.
of that nature.
Hello. Good evening, everyone. My name is Reverend Karen Dillon, and right now I am an associate minister at Bethel Tabernacle AME Church in Brooklyn, New York, where the Reverend Dr. Dave K. Allen is the pastor. I recently retired about 2 years ago from the Children Administration for Children's Services after working 37 years in child protection, married with two adult children. So right now I just do a lot of work with the church, do
Okay.
me, living life.
Living life, we love to see it. And actually, when you did your trip to Egypt in 1996, you were with your job when you did that?
No, when I went to Egypt in 1996, I went on an educational tour with Dr. Beryl Dorsett. She was at that time the district superintendent for District School 17. So she organized a private trip. My mother, Julia Chisholm, she introduced me to her, and she organized the Africa group trip through the Alkin tours with Kemet New Productions.
Okay, so while you weren't here, I was just talking to the people about Kemet,
Yes.
and how important it is. So first, I want to start with highlight, low light. What was the highlight of your trip to Egypt?
Okay, I think maybe the highlight might have been going to the Cairo Museum.
The museum.
Yes,
Okay,
yes, going to the museum.
why was that
And
the highlight?
it was a highlight because of the colossal statues that we saw. And what happened, we brought our tour guides with us. We brought Dr. Kwesi and his wife. They
Ashar Kwesi, which
Yeah,
is a
yes,
renowned
who was a
chematologist.
renowned Egyptologist.
Hmm.
So he was really one of the ones responsible for the tour. So him and his wife, they were with us, and then we had Egyptian tour guides. So the Egyptian tour guides would give their perspective of the artifacts and the colossals at the museum, while in turn, Dr. Kwesi and his wife would give us the African perspective. And go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, what did you see that was comparison or a contrast? Like, because you have two
Okay.
people, because you actually did it in a pretty cool way. You had both of them at the same time. I didn't have both at the same time. You had both of them at the same time. So,
Okay. So, for instance, um, when we saw some of the colossals, I don't know if when you went to the Cairo Museum, if let me see his name to make sure I say it correctly. If he was in the front of the museum, his name is
yes,
Amenhem the Third.
I saw the video you're in, the 1996 video where he was talking about they put him in the back.
Yes. So I
You're in
don't
that
know if
video.
when you went, did you see him in the front? Did they move him, or is he still in the back?
No, he was not in the front because when you walk in the front, I did not see that.
Okay. So that was a biggie for us because the Egyptian tour guide did not talk about him, and he wasn't going to take us to the back. But because Dr. Kwesi knows the history, he took us to the back. And it's just
Mm.
so interesting that this is a great pharaoh who even developed one of the first roads. The Los Angeles Times talks about how he developed a road. So when we see roads, we should be thinking of him. And also with the pyramids. Um, so he has a lot of history
So
that is
I
in the back.
So I want to bring up, because actually Ashra Kwesi, who, like I said, is a renowned chematologist, you gave me his
Egyptologist.
information,
Right.
and I actually reached out to him because I wanted to try to get him on the show, but he's busy, so we're going to try to get him at a later date. But he directed me towards some information, and it's actually, I think, the tour you were on about
Mhm.
that particular thing. So I'm going to pull that up for the people really quickly so they can see that, okay? All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, yes, this is going to be educational. So, I hope y'all in it for the education. So, okay. Uh, all right. I don't know if it's this rain, but it got everything moving
Yeah.
slowly today. Okay, here we go. Jeez. Okay. Oh, I think, hold on. Can you guys hear the sound? Okay, here we go.
Mm-mm. It's a storm.
Yep. So that is the one you were referring to, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Did that no sound? I'm so mad. So mad. I am going to put, I don't know why there was no sound. I think I might not have picked it. So what I showed was a video of basically, okay, I will fix that the next time. But if you want to go to his website, is Comet New. However, basically they were saying he was a pharaoh that helped build, and he was all the way in the back, and
Yes.
people that weren't even pharaohs or rulers or kings are put in the front. Those who have different features or look a certain way were put in the front of the Cairo museum. So even the placement, I know that we don't think placement matters, but these are all subconscious things of what we deem more important than not, right? Put us in the back of the bus, put us in the back of the line. So even though things are not flat out, you have to be cognizant of the small things that are happening around us when they're trying to minimize our history. Boom. Okay.
That's right. Our
Proceed.
signs and symbols.
Okay. So
Signs
all
and
right.
symbols.
So the okay, so you said pyramids. You were talking about the Great Pyramids of Giza. Did you go inside the Great Pyramids of Giza?
Yes, we did. And that was an awesome
You
experience just to be inside. I can't even, it was just an awesome experience. And to know that we have a history that's out, that we built that.
so just a little insight. The pyramids were built on the center of the earth. That's number one. This is the only original ancient wonder of the world still standing, which is over 4,500 years old. It is over 481 feet high, over 2 million stones used to build it, and it was about spiritual ascension for salvation and resurrection, which is why they created the pyramids, to be an assistance to the pharaohs going into their afterlife. And when we look at okay, so we always hear a conversation about aliens had to create it, right?
Mm-hmm.
They always say aliens. So, well, not always, but that's one of the jokes. But the interesting thing is the Egyptian pyramids were built to align with the cosmos, the constellations. So when you look at it from an overview and you align it with the stars, they're actually in alignment. And it's at the center of the earth. I'm just trying to figure out what kind of technology and knowledge did ancient Egyptians have, because and this is just an interesting conversation I just had with someone, my friend today, and we were talking about slavery and how, he mentioned the Europeans were more advanced. They had, the guns, the weaponry, and all that. And for me, I was like, we had all these things put in place with our agriculture, the ability to build. The one of the most famous things, slaves built the White House. We were able to do this architecture. We were able to do this agriculture. We were able to build these things. That sounds pretty advanced to me. It sounds like the only thing the Europeans had one up on us on was money and resources in the sense of firearms and weaponry. So it's just very interesting to me, because also when you listen, there's a lot of different things you hear about who built the pyramids.
Mm-hmm.
During your tour, do you remember how the Egyptian tour guide advised the pyramids were built?
No, I can't remember exactly, but I know it was a contrast, definitely, than what Dr. Kwesi said.
Okay. So this is why it's important, again, for us to learn our history from not just a Western civilization perspective, because everything that we know is based on what Europeans have provided us for with information. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard for us, because I promise you, I don't want to go too deep in this.
I know.
But
Sure.
right. There are, and when I say I don't want to go too deep, it's because this is further conversation. I would want more experienced people. But I will say this: if you are going to learn about your ancestors and ancestry and go to Egypt, prepare to have to swallow some hard pills, because things that we deem demonized or things of that nature, when we start learning about our ancestors and their traditions, it's just interesting that from my perspective, we've taken things from the culture and then demonized the rest that doesn't suit Western civilization. And I will say that in reference to religion more so. Uh,
So, Lisa,
you're a reverend. I'm not trying to
I'm
go
not,
in. I,
don't go in, because,
I'm not. But
but
I would like your perspective as
I
a
do,
reverend. We
I
both
do
believe
want
in
to say,
God. I
yeah.
would like to know, what did you feel? I'm not going to go in, but I just want to
Okay,
know,
so let
what
me
did you
just say
feel?
this. So I had a lot of preparation prior to going to Egypt because of the tour group that we were involved with. We met monthly. We had lectures. We watched videos. We had discussion groups. So we weren't as surprised, even though we were surprised at some of the information that was presented. However, like you said, Lisa, for more experienced people to really speak about it, when you start talking about the religious aspect, and it starts to get you to rethink some of the things that you have learned, even in your own Christianity, and when you think about what was said in Egypt. So it gets you thinking. And it's important that we learn this history. We need to learn the history, because our history was stolen from us. When you think about the history books, things that have been hidden, we need to know this. We need to know what people are saying about us so that we know how we can respond and move forward.
Absolutely. Another one. Okay, so I did highlights before I get to another famous monument. Did you have a low light?
Okay, so in regards to low light, something that just didn't go well. The tour was really well organized, and I wouldn't think of this as a low light, but since the tour was really well organized, we really didn't have any low lights except for um, if we were able to interact more with the people. But because what happened, it was their holiday time when we went.
Okay.
So they were on holiday and we weren't able to really sit down with them and get their perspective of what was going on. I wouldn't say it was a bad thing, but if
Yeah.
we were able to go a different time.
Okay. You went in
The
February, right?
Nubians, the Nubians, if
The
we was
Nubian village. We gonna get to that in a
okay,
second.
I'm sorry.
So this question is, what kind of religion do they believe in? So if we look at the hieroglyphics, in Egypt and the tombs and everywhere, they believed in deities. They had Ra, which is God of the sun. And when we look at the conversation about, we call Jesus the Son, things like that. You also have, it's very, and this is why I don't want to do,
Right,
because it's, when you look at it, you have to also keep in mind this is all BC. So you're seeing things that look familiar to you because they do show up in Christianity. However, this information was before that time and they still have familiar stories. So it makes you, yeah, it's a lot, and I'm not trying to
not
offend
either.
nobody tonight.
No.
So, but yes, they believe in deities. They believed in Ra was the sun. I don't want to get into all the
I
deities because I
know.
don't remember. They do believe in your soul ascending back to the gods, which is why with the pyramids, there's a whole situation with the mummification
Mm.
where they
Where they
take
wrap
out the
them. Mhm.
organs and they wrap. Do you know? Because you're good
No,
with
no,
the
no.
you're good with the terminology.
No, I don't want to get
Oh,
it. I
okay.
don't want to be incorrect.
Okay, they
Mm.
remove the organs of the body for mummification, and they lay it in the tomb, and it's supposed to, what they believe is, you prepare it so
Mhm.
that when it's time, they are in place for the ascension back.
Yeah.
So some people call it, they were building the pyramids kind of like a heaven on earth, because I Ashra Kwazi. So when we think about that ascension for the soul, it's kind of like when we look at the Bible and they say it's we don't consider it an afterlife, because in Egypt they would use the word afterlife. For us, we consider it. Is it Christianity? Is it called the afterlife? When we die and we believe we go to heaven and we're with God and our souls is do as Christians, we don't call that the
Mhm.
after, do we? What is that
Some
called?
people have different perspectives on
Some
it.
people have different. Okay, does anybody have any idea in the Christian faith, when we die and we believe that we go to glory and go to God, all things constant, what is it called? Do we call that the afterlife? Do we just, because we do say life after death, right? Which is the afterlife? I don't know. Yeah,
And we
look,
say how our spirit, you know,
right,
leaves and soul
but we
leaves.
don't say afterlife, right? Okay, but so yes, Sister Verna. Well, okay, so Sister Vanessa, I see you're saying Muslim, so yes, Muslim is a part of it, but what I think she's referring to, when I was referring to the ancient civilization, how before all that, when we're looking at hieroglyphics, it was more about deities, um, multiple deities, as opposed to one coming or something of
Mhm.
that nature. So that's a difference. But a lot of the story in the hieroglyphics, or the, as we would say it in Kemet, The metal netter, instead of hieroglyphics, the metal netter explains their story of how they live, they die, and prepare in death, and
Right.
then go back to their afterlife. And even this was what I got from Egypt. This was one of my favorite things. I had always heard about this, and I really, really appreciate this story. This is the judgment of Osiris. Okay?
Okay.
So basically, what this is oh, they lost the sound? Y'all can't hear me? Tell me, can y'all hear me or not?
I could hear you, but maybe they can't.
Can you hear me? Let me find out this rain is getting real. Okay, so tell me yes or no if you can hear me. Oh, okay. So this is called the Judgment of Osiris, and basically it is the judgment where they put a heart and a feather on the scale. Okay? So this is how they decide when we say we in the Lamb's Book of Life, is our name written in the Lamb's Book of Life? This is how they are deciding your heart and a feather. And if your heart is lighter than the feather, it's the feather, right? Yes. If your heart is lighter than the feather, then you have passed the judgment. Now, when we say heart is lighter, we're not referring to the actual weight. It's referring to, is your heart light? Have you given up all forgiveness? Are you holding any, how would you, do you hold on to any grudges? Things of that nature. And so this judgment is seeing, what are you still holding on in here? And are you ready to move on into the light? So I love that piece right there. Okay, so let us get to the Sphinx. Did you go see the Sphinx?
Yes, I did. I saw the Sphinx and contrasted with the Sphinx that's in Las Vegas.
Okay, so tell
So
us a little bit about that.
the way the Sphinx looked.
Okay,
When you go, when you know how the features of the Sphinx, the nose, and so forth, and the color. But then when you go to see the Sphinx in Las Vegas, you'll see the blue-eyed, different complexion, and so forth. But that's supposed to be the Sphinx.
absolutely. So what she's referring to, for all y'all people that went to Vegas, y'all know that they had created this whole place called Luxor, right? If anybody's familiar, that's also where I went, which had the Valley of the Kings. Luxor is not where the Sphinx is. However, that's what Las Vegas did, MGM Grand, and they created the Sphinx. They have this statue with Africa, but there's nothing there that tells you anything that's is connected to Africa. And like Sister Dilla said, blue eyes, different skin complexion, and it's almost like they stripped it. So if you're a foreigner and you went to Vegas and you saw that picture of the Sphinx, you probably most likely would feel that it had no ties to Africa,
Yeah.
because they don't show. Sister Verna said, I'm familiar with Luxor. Did you go to Luxor? Did you actually go to Luxor?
Yes, in Vernon.
No, you.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I did. I
Did
did.
you see the Valley of the Kings?
Yeah. The
Okay.
Valley of the Kings. You know, some of my memory is just a little, it's been a long time. I do have videos that I need to go rewatch, but
Yes.
and you know, that's an important thing that we need to go and rewatch them.
We need to document.
Yes, document.
She said the casino.
Ah, ah,
So, what was your experience at the Valley of the Kings? Now, for anyone who doesn't know, the Valley of the Kings is where the pharaohs were buried. They picked a dry river valley that was across from the ancient city of Thebes. I may be mispronouncing it. And basically, they put it in this royal burial ground is because it was on the west side of the Nile, which is significant because again, these are places that are preparation for these kings to go back to their space with their God. So everything is done to be in alignment with the sun, the rising of the sun.
Mm-hmm.
Also, they wanted it in a section where people would not be out here robbing and stealing, because the Tomb Raiders was real. Okay, so the Tomb Raiders was real. So, what was your experience in the Valley of the Kings? Do you remember that?
Not too much.
Okay. Do you remember which kings were your favorite? Because did you go see King Tut's?
Yeah, we did. We did see him,
Okay.
but I can't remember too much that stood out.
Okay. We have a question. Okay, we have a question. What is the meaning and idea behind the Sphinx? So, there are some belief. So, first, the Sphinx was. Oh, I had this actually in my notes and I missed it. Oh
That's fine
no.
too.
I had this. I'm gonna have to tag. I missed it in my notes. Okay, so first, actually, another name for the Sphinx is the Horam Aket. Okay, and they said that also it is. How tall is this? 240 feet. 240 feet, 65 feet wide. Oh, let me not. I think I'm messing up that one. So the Sphinx was considered like the guardian of the space, but also because of the facing of it, this is a part of what they believe, that the Sphinx was facing the rising of the sun. It was facing east because when the sun rise, geez, my light is not shining today, because when the sun rise, it would hit the center, which is the pineal gland, and it would activate. Gosh. Okay. Sorry. Um, it would hit the pineal gland and it was activating the two sides to preparation for the soul. So the two sides of its head, like the left and the right, is supposed to be the ka and the ba of the Sphinx. I am going to pull this up because I don't want to misinterpret anything. So the last time you guys said that you didn't have any sound. So I'm going to try it again with the sound. Okay? I'm going to try it again with the sound so we can show about the Sphinx. Okay. Oh no, what is happening? Okay.
One of the things that recently happened in the United States, I want to bring to your attention. Those of you who have gone to Las Vegas, Nevada, have recently witnessed where they have built a replica, or tried to build a replica of Horm Akhet, one of the most ancient colossals, not only built right here on the African continent, but the most ancient colossal on the planet Earth. And they made him with blue eyes and white skin. And not one word is said that this is an African architectural structure. And they even put a pyramid, and they even have Tut. So the sad thing is that people from all over the world go here. And not one word is mentioned that this is an African architectural structure. Not one word is mentioned that this belongs to African people. And the sad thing is that many Africans who go there and spend their money don't even realize it themselves. And the rooms are called Tut's Hut. As Dr. John Henry Clark, another grandmaster teacher of ours, would say, that which is sacred to us has been desecrated. And not only has it been desecrated, but we have been taught to laugh at its desecration. That's a shame. All people who are a people must preserve are ancient sites. For us to be a people, we must have something that is ancient that belongs to us. So when you look up at the face of Horm Aket, you can see where Napoleon, who came here in 1798 and had 21 cannons, his generals, like have 21 cannons and blow the nose off. And George Washington, who was part of the Illuminati, Benjamin Franklin, and Andrew Jackson. That's why they named Memphis, Tennessee, off the net from Memphis, where we're going in a few minutes, trying to design from the Grand Masters. So they know they were stealing the people from the African continent and stealing the knowledge as well. So let's go up on the high wall and see more of Horm Aket and deal more in depth with the history, the true history of this Grand Master who came out of pre-dynastic Egypt. Not the fourth dynasty, but pre-dynastic, who was part of the real Horus king, who was deified as a god. The first deification as God as a man. And over 65 feet high. Keep in mind, if you look at his ears, 6 feet tall, that means you can stand inside of his ears. Look how massive this colossal is. Standing here from the dawn of time, who the Arabs call him Abu Hal, or meaning the great father. And truly the great father of time. And now, through documentation and excavations, some have even documented that Horm Aket may go back to the time of the Bedouin age. Again, reconstruction have taken place down through the ages. Many European Egyptologists have said that this is Khafra of the fourth dynastic period. But if you look at the prognostic jaw, he looks nothing like Khafra. Let's go and see, as I said, in pre-dynastic times, representing the Shimsu Haru, let's go back and see who Horm Aket goes back to. With a little Twa, who our ancestors, even known as the Senetos, who was during that time of the pre-dynastic period known as the Twa, and even best. That's where you see his origins go back to, who the Africans built this. So here we have all proof and documentation of where the origin of Horm Aket, and all who comes before him, like the Europeans you see here, have to look up at this and see the beginning when Napoleon was documented in Los Angeles Times, that when Napoleon visited the Sphinx in 1798, everything but the head had been buried in sand, although his soldiers repeatedly used the head for target practice. But we know it's a new day today, and it's the first day today. So you may not grasp where you have been until you go back and lay your eyes down and Horm Aket come into your sleep. Horm Aket digs deep down into your, what they call REM sleep.
Okay. So, ooh. All right, I'm back. So with that conversation about the Sphinx, there was a lot to digest with that one. Number one, yes, like Sharon asked about it, yes, it was a form of protection. There's also conversation about who it represents, and oh, you can stay aside his ears. They're looking at the comments. Is who it represents. And again, when you're talking about Egyptology versus chematology, I am just here for you guys to figure it out on your own. I went and traveled to Egypt and still am trying to figure it out on my own. It left me with even more questions. I'm just being honest with you. Whether it's from the Kemet side or the Egyptology side, I still was like, what am I? Like, what is going on? So I just implore you guys to do a lot of reading and research, because when it comes to our history, unfortunately, it seems very hard to trace. There seems to always be a conversation about what we've contributed to society. Even in our own land, it's a conversation about what we've contributed to our society. And it hurt my heart to make this pilgrimage and be excited and to have someone tell me that your ancestors didn't have much to do with these fascinating things that you've all your life watched. The reason I went to Egypt is because I used to sit at home watching the Discovery Channel in my bed. And I always said, I'm going to go there one day. I'm going to see those pyramids. And one of my favorite things was the Valley of the Kings. And it was just amazing. And like I said, I had two different types of tour guides. One who told me, yeah, be proud of your ancestry, and another one who told me y'all weren't here till later. And that's when we talk about the Cushites and the Nubians, and later on in the 25th dynasty and the later periods of ruling. But when it comes to ancient civilization, they say we weren't really, not they, some say we weren't really a part of it. Um, the question here, what was one of the most memorable, what was most memorable or stood out the most to you about your trip? Now, I'm going to let you go with this because I know you did something amazing on your trip.
What was most memorable?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I can say being able to cruise down the Nile and being able to, along with four other couples, to renew my wedding vows while cruising on the Nile. So that was really a memorable occasion. And
So
having my
wait,
family members witness it, my mother, my sister Kathleen, and my, of course, my husband was there, but cousins Trivia and Frederica, just
so this is you guys doing your vows on the Nile.
yes.
This is amazing. That is awesome. That is memorable in itself. Now, do you remember what you said in those vows?
Well, what we did, we repeated after the preacher and talked about love and talked about commitment and talked about just being there for each other. And, some of the same original ones in sickness and in health and love and being there to support one another. So basically, that was a lot of it.
Awesome. For me, the most memorable for me, even though the pyramids were amazing, um, and it's a wonder of the world, um, there was something about that Sphinx when I got there. There was just an energy. However, and then oh gosh, I can't pick one, Miss Anita. Okay, the Valley of the Kings was amazing, but I will say something that stood out to me since we're talking about spirituality is I went to the Karnak Temple. If anybody has seen my pictures, that's the pictures with the huge colossal pillars. And there were sanctuaries and temples where Ramses and all the pharaohs would use for their sanctuaries. And the tour guide took me to this particular temple, and I just felt an energy. I just felt something. I don't know what it was. I had went through a lot of temples. I done went through a lot of, whatever. But it was something about Karnak Temple that when I stepped in, I felt an energy. I felt something. I don't know what it was. I don't know what. I don't even think I knew that it was a prayer chamber at the time. He was just like, people. This is where the pharaohs would come. And then when I was like something about this energy, and he was like, "Well, this is the prayer chamber," and I was like, "Okay." that makes some sense. But that's crazy that if I if you were trying to feel anything from ancestors or spirituality in a moment, that I felt it at the Karnak Temple. So that was definitely one of the most memorable moments for me. One of the funny moments was going to Luxor, trying to get on the air balloon ride, and had to be ready at 4 a.m. I woke up at 3:55, but your girl had made sure she had everything laid out. So all I had to do was just throw on my clothes. But what did your girl do? Put her clothes on backwards. So I am sitting, I'm sitting in a boat, heading in the Nile River, headed to an air balloon ride with a backwards outfit on. And I needed to use the bathroom because it was 4 a.m. and it was a sunrise ride on the air balloon. And let's just say there was no lavatories. So it's nighttime because it's 5 a.m. I'm about to paint y'all some pictures. It's 5 a.m. The sun hasn't risen yet. I'm halfway asleep. My dress is on backwards. They tell me the lavatory is that way. There's a curtain. I'm in. It's in public. It's a curtain. I see a line of girls going. So I'm like, well, if everybody's going, it must be okay. So what it was just a room, and there was everybody. There was no toilet. It was everybody else's deposits right there.
Oh, come on.
And so I
Mm.
was like, I'm in a room with everybody's deposits. If you ain't ready for that, don't go.
Mm-mm.
I'm telling you, I had some stories. I had some stories. So replying to how did you feel about the during the return? Oh, so they going to Ghana. Okay, so this was about to be about Africa, but they taking me to Ghana. Really quick. So what else would you want to highlight or discuss about your trip to Egypt? Question: do you think young people specifically, or people older, do you think there is a need or a necessity to go to Egypt?
Definitely.
Why?
Because it's such a rich history, and we need to learn it, because like I said earlier, we don't get it in the history books. It's not taught. A lot of it is erased from the school books that the children are learning. So I think they need to go, so that, for educational purposes, so that you can know something about your history, because it's not being taught in the regular school system.
Yes.
And I think everyone, young, old, we all need to go, and especially the young people.
Yes. I say if you're going to go anywhere to retrace your ancestors, whether it's Egypt, whether it's Ghana, whether it's Nigeria, Kenya, Timbuktu, wherever you going, you need to keep an open mind. And the reason I say keep an open mind, because the more I learn about African history, the more I'm realizing that Western civilization has pushed us away from wanting to understand, acknowledge, or even accept that these are traditions that our ancestors have done for whatever reason. And I struggle with that. I struggle with that a lot. As I was preparing for this, I was, talking to my friends, and he was like, "Oh, did you work on everything?" I said, "I went to sleep early." He's like, "Why?" I said, "I was getting anxiety. I was afraid of speaking about things that, I learned, because I knew that some things would be hard pills to swallow for some people. And I didn't want to say the wrong thing. I didn't want to feel like I was giving off some crazy information or had an agenda. So I was like, I don't know where I should go with this, but this is really, I think, we did a really good job. I had footage and pictures I wanted to show, but I feel like the time was going, so I didn't um, do any of that. But I'm just going to share a little bit with you guys, some things, so that you guys, my thing just keep going. So I'm going to just share a little bit with you guys, some pictures or some footage for y'all, and just talk about it as we go. So this is the beautiful Nefertari, okay, of Nubia. You said you went to Nubia?
Yes, we did. But
Go
yeah, we
ahead.
briefly went to Nubia, but we really wanted to be able to interact with some of the original Nubians. But like I said, it was their holiday, So, but we did have a tour guide that
Oh,
took us
oh,
around.
okay. These are the Nubians. This was an image of them being captives on the hieroglyphics, which I thought was pretty interesting. So as you can see, our sisters had their turbans, they had their head wraps. Don't ever let nobody tell you that the head wrap is ratchet. Okay, our ancestors was rocking the head wraps. Okay, um, this was just art, not art. Was this Luxor or Karnak? Oh, I
I
want to
think it was
say,
Luxor. It looked.
yeah, I was about to say, I think this was Luxor. I want to say this was the entrance. Oh, this is you. What else do I have? Wait, is that it? Oh, okay. We're all the way up here. Why
It's
is it
just
bringing-
so much, you know.
I know it's so much. It's hard for me, guys, to like really go in. I could give you guys some pictures of the temples of me at the pyramids, but it's just a lot. This is inside the pyramid of Giza. You do all the work, and it's an empty tomb, but the heat in there is ridiculous. Okay, so if you're not built to withstand the heat, don't go inside. This was a side view of all three pyramids of Khufu, King Khufu, and his sons. Um, this was, just me enjoying it. So this was me at the Sphinx. And like I said, there's something about the Sphinx was powerful. I'm not gonna lie. There's something about the Sphinx that when you're just in front of it, you just feel something. This was actually my air balloon. So did a little air ballooning, guys. It was super fun. This was in my 6 a.m. This is what I went there for. Oh, this is not giving all the views that I need though. So that was super fun. I would acknowledge. So this was, I think, one of my favorite. This is the King of Valleys. This is where the kings were buried, and this was their tombs. So let me see how deep I get into there with y'all. This one didn't get too deep. Is it showing clearly? Because I
Yeah.
would hate that if it was pixelated for you guys. This is, as you can see again, with the sun god. You'll also, oh, speaking of, you say the word because you say it better than me.
Cartouche.
Cartouche, yes. Do you have your cartouche still?
Yes, I have it on. I have it around my neck. I have my earrings.
Okay. So this was, I can't see, mine is so pixelated. But it was just amazing just to see all of the colors and to know this is done by hand, guys. Like, this is all done by hand. And this was our ancestors. And all of this is telling a story, it documents it. It talks about Christianity in a couple of these. I think this is one of them that discusses the conversation about when Christianity came into it, when the Romans started bringing their religion. It was just amazing. It was just amazing. That Osiris right there. Another interesting, okay, so I can't go through all of these, guys, but these are some pictures. The tomb of King Tut. Did I show you guys King Tut's mummy? I don't think I showed you guys King Tut's mummy. This is King Tut's mummy. Still intact and preserved. This is Ramesses the, don't get me the lion. I want to say the sixth, but I can't recall. But this was a picture of Ramesses. It's just beautiful, like the art and the culture of it all. I will say the one thing that I learned. Oh, One of my favorite places, how could I not talk about this, was Queen Hatshepsut. Okay, did you go to Queen Hatshepsut's?
Yeah, we did.
Okay, now, Queen Hatshepsut is my favorite. Okay, she is my favorite queen. I'm gonna tell you why. She is my favorite queen because she fooled all the men and she made them believe that she was a man. Okay, and she went on to rule and bring all types of good deeds with them, whether it's with trading goods, whether it was with artistry. She just opened up the economy to a whole nother level. And they couldn't stand her. Okay. Well, her stepson couldn't stand her. And it was rumored that when she died, he basically tried to deface all her monuments and try to destroy her legacy because he felt like she overrode his succession, that she took over when he should have been reigning. So that's an interesting conversation. But Queen Hatshepsut is mine. And I also realized, you know how we do this all the time. We do this all the time. Forever Wakanda forever. I didn't even realize that that is the placement of the kings when they
Oh,
get buried
in the tomb, yeah.
in the tomb. All this time, I'm watching Wakanda Forever, and I never put it together that this is how they buried the kings. So that was an interesting take for me. Now, does anybody somebody wrote, did they have did they have French fries? Okay, first of all, did you have to wear hair coverings in places? Okay, so first, yes, they have French fries. Second, yes, you have to cover. If you see my pictures, I was covered my whole body because I didn't know if I was going into a temple, into a mosque, into just a trip, and you had to dress accordingly for whatever section you might be in. Did
Yeah.
you
No,
experience that?
that was different for us. We didn't have to cover our heads or cover our bodies. One thing that they did say to us that we shouldn't have any revealing, like open, like off the shoulder things and stuff like that. But as far as head coverings and stuff, no.
Okay. What did somebody say? How was the food? The food is decent. So now listen, I didn't really like to travel like that back in the day because I like to stick to what I know. And so I ain't gonna hold y'all guys. I kind of stuck to a low-key vegetarian diet in Egypt.
And a lot of people.
I did the rice, I did the falafel, I did the salads. The only time, and y'all gonna laugh, the only time I kind of ate meat was when I went to the Japanese restaurant in the hotel.
No, but I
Okay.
understand.
So, yeah, would I go back? Somebody asked me, would I go back? So you're not the Lisa, how did it feel traveling alone? Oh, so you can tell me. Yes, I solo traveled to Egypt and Ghana, and I was scared on the way that, like, up into the trip. And it's interesting because you tell people you go into Mexico, you go into Paris, you go into London, you're doing all these things, and everybody's like, "Oh, that's what's up." You be like, "I'm going to Africa." They be like, "Oh, okay." And so it's just interesting, the response that you get with that. Traveling alone, to be honest, because I had so many tours and tour guides, I felt safe. I made sure I picked a location that I felt safe at. But if you're going to Egypt, be clear that you have to be firm. I'm from New York. You got to be firm in your New Yorkness. Let's put it like that. Meaning, you're going to get hustled if you don't know how to negotiate.
Barter.
They thought, yeah, barter. They thought that I was Egyptian. It was like, yo, you from here? Because this guy was trying to sell me something for like $200. And I was like, yo, I only got $40 on me. And it took him like 20 minutes, and he finally was just like, all right. You know what I'm saying? But that's how the game go. But also, they're very persistent. So if they want you to do something, want you to buy something, like I said, if you look at my clip, you'll see like the little girl coming up to the window. So They're very persistent. I actually had a moment. I'll quickly share. I would dare not tell my mama because she would have been like, "Oh my gosh!" But no fear, y'all. So I was walking to Luxor Museum. Luxor was actually easier and felt smoother to walk around than Cairo. Cairo's a little bit more rough. Luxor is a little bit more chill. However, I was in Luxor, and this guy, as I was walking, he said, "Hey, I'm going to the market. I was the chef at the hotel." Never said the hotel he was at. He just said, "I'm a chef at the hotel." And I'm like, okay, because at this point, I'm not trying to do too much and say too much. So I go, I walk in. He's trying to hold conversation with me. He's like, "Oh, there's this market around the corner up the block. You should come with me." I was like, "I don't want to go to the market. I'm going to Luxor Museum." He was like, "You should come," being very persistent. So at this point, by the time I got to Luxor, I understood how to talk to them. So I said, "Do you respect my no?" Because when you force them to hear themselves, they're not going to be like super disrespectful. So once I said, "Do you respect my no?" He was like, "All right." He kind of let it go. But then he kept walking with me, and as I got to Luxor Museum, he's like, "No, no, no, just come around the corner. I promise. It's a new
Mm.
market that's opening. Da da da. Come to the market." And I was like, "No, I don't. I'm going to the Luxor Museum. I'm buying my ticket at the window." And he's standing next to me, and he's like,
Mm.
"No, come to the." And I turned around in my New Yorkness. I said, "No, I don't want to go." Just like that. And then he said, "All right, I'm sorry if I pressed you." Well, he didn't use the word press, but he was like, "I'm sorry, if I kept pushing you." But what he did was he walked back the opposite direction,
Mm.
which let me know he was never intending to go to the market that he told me he wanted me to go
That's
with him
right.
to.
Mm.
So that was scary for me. What it wasn't even scary that he was walking with me and talking with me. That wasn't scary. I'm used to that. People do that all the time. But once we separated and you go back the other way, that's when I was like, "Yo, what did you have planned if I walked with you in that direction?" So solo travelers, beware. Just say no. Just say no. What she said? Oh, yes, I prayed
That's
before I
right.
left. I prayed, but solo travelers, just be aware. Like, never be too nice. And I'm not trying to be funny, but never be too nice. You could be cordial, you could be cool, you can engage in conversation, but keep your street smarts. Never be too nice, and never stand out too much. Like, I was dressed in a similar vibe of how they was dressing. I didn't. The only time they really knew that I didn't belong there is when I started talking. Right. So that's when they were like, "Oh, you're not from here." They swore I was from Africa somewhere. I was like, "My ancestors are." So whatever. But is there anything else that you want us to know about your trip to Egypt, or that you would like to share with the people?
No, I guess just about you. You mentioned about the cartouche that you have yours on.
Yes, I have my cartouche for the initials of my name. And on the back, they gave me the beetle and the ankh. So the beetle, I am not going to Spain and Italy. I'm going to Italy. So the beetle represents rebirth and renewal, and the ankh is eternal life. One of the meetings.
Right.
So this was awesome for me to have. What does yours say?
Well, mine's have my whole name on it.
Oh,
So
you
my
got
name.
money. You got money. You know how much these things was going for? She
Well,
whole name. I said, "Give me three initials." How much for three initials?
think about it. 27 years ago. So
Yeah, the money on the go was
inflation,
different.
inflation. But you just representing your name, being eternal. Your name
Okay.
inscribed in it.
Awesome. I did. Do you have any of your others? I brought this back. This is Isis. Everyone knows about Isis. She's a queen of fertility. I mean, she's a goddess of fertility. They said she was the goddess of magic, the moon, protection. Yeah, and I love the wings, which is interesting because my praise dancers gave me an angel, and her wings are like this. I was like, that's very interesting. So yeah, I brought those things.
Did you go where they made the papyrus?
Yes, the
Okay, so yeah,
papyrus.
so
And I did.
yeah, so I did get that papyrus with the two cartouches, my husband's and myself, on the papyrus with the unk in the middle.
Oh, yeah, they had money. Look, you see this? She's talking about you brought jewelry back for yourself and bring me back a dress. First of all, ma'am, could you tell her how much the jewel? I ain't even ignite. She still got a bracelet she ain't even wear from me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not paying attention to y'all. But anything else that you would like? Does anyone else have any questions? Did I miss any questions? If I had, thank you, ungrateful. Does anybody have any questions or anything that maybe I didn't discuss that you guys would like to discuss now? No, yes. This is you my longest thing. I left the note in the chat. So if you guys want to join the conversation, feel free to jump in the conversation. Just let me know. You could click the link and you could be a part of the conversation. Before I wrap it up, y'all, I Miss Reverend Dylan, thank you so much for joining me. This was awesome. And I know that there's a plethora of information that could have been given today, but it's just way too much. Y'all need to go for yourselves. And like I said, when it comes to learning about where you come from, just keep an open mind about your ancestry. And it's okay to understand and learn and still, have difference of opinion. It's not about having to take in everything that you learn and just run with it. Oh, that is lovely.
So this is what's hanging on the wall.
So that is the papyrus, everyone. So FYI, the papyrus was the first piece of paper that they used to transcribe on. Okay? And she got hers with her husband and her cartouche. Did I say it right?
Yes.
Cartouche and the ankh in the middle for eternal life, eternal love. Yes! Wakanda forever. Did I miss anyone else's questions? Thank you. Y'all need a part two. Well, the part two would be of Ghana. Part two would be a Ghana, and we talk about the slave castles. Hit me with a number two. If y'all want a part two with this, where we discuss Ghana and the slave castles and that. I need the number two. I want to see the tools in the building. If y'all looking for that, because I got somebody else that went to Ghana that could possibly be on here too.
Yes.
Y'all so busy talking to each other, y'all not listening to me. All right. Oh, did they speak a lot of English? Yes. English is never an issue when you go to these places. Everybody speaks English. Everybody, you're good. There's no issues for that. Now, there will not be a part. I'll give y'all part two, but no part three. Part three will be the Spirit of a Woman documentary. The Spirit of a Woman documentary is coming soon, and it's going to discuss womanhood, and it's going to incorporate not just my experience in Africa, but the conversations that you've seen me have with other ladies in the Spirit of a Woman interviews from my book and everything else like that. It's going to be amazing. I'm looking to do it in March and do a screening at a rent out a movie theater and screen it, and it's going to be amazing. So it's going to be a lot of work. So I am grateful. Okay, I see the twos. So we will come through with a part two for the Ghana. Again, thank you everyone for coming through. I pray I haven't misspoken on any of the names or any of the words. And if I did, please forgive me. And if anybody is watching this playback and I made a mistake somewhere, correct me in the comment section. Please do, because I do not want to be out here misinforming nobody. Okay? But the words and the names, sometimes it's hard to remember.
Thank you, Sister Lisa. Thank you, Lisa.
Yes. Thank you, Reverend Dylan, for coming out. And thank you, Sister Lorraine, Sister Gloria, Sister Carolyn, Sister Verna, Rita, Vanessa, Sister Anita, Sister Denise, everybody that came through, whatever names I missed on the scroll up, I apologize. It's not fault of my own. And if anybody wants to find out some of the videos that I was showing, if it was a little sketchy, and you just want to get more familiar with Ashra Kwesi, you can check them out at Kemet New, KEMETNU, which I put. Oh, what's going on, Cliffy Boss? What's going on? Appreciate it. We got another documentarian in the building. So I appreciate everybody who showed love and came out here to do their thing. And again, we could talk about this for hours, but it's just too much information to digest. Wait till the documentary, and I'll keep y'all posted for part 2. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you.
Thank
Have
you.
a good night, and I will keep y'all posted. Make sure y'all follow. Oh wait, hold on. How am I not plug myself? Y'all know I got 3 books: A Black Girl's Thoughts in Haiku Form, Spirit of a Woman, and Get Out of My Head. Okay, so y'all need to be hitting up my website, and y'all need to be getting on it. If y'all don't yet, we got merch, we got shirts, we got books, we got. Where's my band? I got bands, everything. Okay, so if y'all want to see my writings and my works in that nature, just visit what I got down here. Okay, all right. So in the meantime, in between time, protect your energy, lead with love, stay in peace. Peace and blessings, everybody. Y'all know I'm going to hit y'all with my outro. And follow me on JL Spirit of a Woman on Instagram so that y'all can stay in tune with the next episode. All right? Later.
Where do I go to leave this?
I always miss the outro.
Where's the leave button?
Okay, now y'all know I'm going to fix my outro. Y'all going to stay here while I fix my outro. This is sucks. Okay. I'm not leaving till I get my outro. So if y'all still here, I appreciate y'all because y'all know I don't be playing about my outros. Okay? So let me get my outro together. In the meantime, don't forget to share this. Don't forget to like it. And don't forget to let the people know that Spirit of a Woman is doing a thing and we back.
Sexy. Life. Creation. Welcome to the Spirit of a Woman soundtrack. Ladies, grab your wine. Check yourself. Look back. Right. You got it. 'Cause here, this is where ladies are first.
Okay. Did I end the stream?